So I can have my phone off airplane mode. Hello explorers, Kitted Explorer here, and today I'm back for another solo female travel topic. Today we're going to talk about communication. Someone asked about how do you communicate abroad when you travel, particularly when you're solo. So this is actually a tip that could work for not just a solo traveler or not just a solo female traveler, but any solo traveler, any traveler period, even if you're with a group. It is important to be able to communicate when you are outside of your home country. So today I am giving you the 5 best ways for you to communicate while you're abroad. So let's get into it. Bueno, número uno. The first thing you need to do is to check with your current cell phone provider to see if you have international access on your current phone plan. If you don't, see if you're able to get temporary access or switch to an international plan so your phone at home can work abroad. So let me tell you a little bit about that. Years ago, I used to have Verizon Wireless, and I don't know if their phone plans have changed, but my phone plan did not have an international plan. And when I would go abroad, it would cost so much money to even turn it off of airplane mode. So I would never really turn it off airplane mode unless it was an emergency, because it just would charge so much money. I think I went out of the country twice and I ended up with my phone bill doubling. Like, no. And it could be worse, okay? Especially if you have your phone off airplane mode and your phone is checking things all the time. So I was like, I have had enough. They did have international plans, but they were just not affordable, and the phone bill is already expensive. So I think it was in 2017 or 18, I switched to T-Mobile, and my phone bill, whether I'm in the States or out of the States, is always $70, and it's an international plan. So I can have my phone off airplane mode and it can check the internet all at once. It can update my email, my social media, blah, 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 and it will not charge me extra. I can text all I want. I can do FaceTime calling. I can do all that stuff with my phone because they don't charge extra for it. Now, they may charge a little extra if you make a phone call, but I don't make many phone calls unless it's an emergency or they don't have a particular app to contact them. I don't know about all the cell phone providers, so make sure you check with your cell phone provider in your home country to see if there is an international plan that is affordable for you. Número dos. The second thing you need to look at is getting a SIM card in that country. So number one that I mentioned is making sure your phone has international phone plan. I would only recommend that if you're going to be there for a short time period, like a week vacation or something. But if you're planning to be gone in that country for an extended time period, I recommend getting an international SIM card. To get an international SIM card, you will go to a local cell phone provider and request a temporary SIM or a travel SIM card, or I think the other one is or pay-as-you-go SIM card. So something like that. The SIM card in that country will generate a local phone number, a local international phone number for your phone, and your phone will still operate. And then you will still have your SIM card for your home country, so you won't lose your phone number there. So that is something I recommend if you're going to be in that country for a long time period, so you can save money and actually have a local phone number to get in touch with people as needed. So the third option is if you are traveling for an employer, make sure you ask them for a cell phone from the company that has access to contact people while abroad, or ask them for reimbursement for your cell phone while you're traveling. I say this because if they're sending you somewhere, they should at least be taking care of you, right? But I do want you to keep in mind, if they do reimburse you for your cell phone, that is a whole issue. I actually did that with my current employer for about a year. I had them reimburse my phone. That was an option they had. And it started to become annoying because one, then all of my work emails go into my personal phone. I'm on vacation, I'm seeing work emails. They can contact me on my work phone. And not to mention, if there's a legal issue, your phone could get confiscated in that legal matter. So you don't want that. So always have a secondary phone for your work. Now, when I worked for another employer, the first employer I worked with outside of college, I would travel internationally with them all the time, and they had phones that you could check out that had international access. So it was something that I could use wherever I go for emergency purposes. And that was definitely the better situation. So if you are traveling with your employer, make sure you ask for that information or that cell phone service to make sure you have a way to communicate while you're traveling with them. So the fourth item is to connect to Wi-Fi whenever possible. In a lot of countries, except for, Cuba, Wi-Fi is widely available. You can go to a hotel. Obviously, in your hotel, you're gonna have Wi-Fi. Cafe, a restaurant, who knows? Wi-Fi is everywhere these days. Most of us have smartphones. So you can take your smartphone, connect to Wi-Fi, and you can access pretty much everything that you want to access via Wi-Fi and not be on cell phone service. I usually use Wi-Fi for the most part to make phone calls anyway, so I won't have to use the minutes, but I still have my phone available, because I have international service to use the internet or send text as needed. But Wi-Fi is excellent because you can connect to Wi-Fi, you can find a local place, you need to make a phone call, you can get on WhatsApp and be able to call them quickly. You can send messages through Facebook Messenger. And not to mention, if you have an iPhone, you can FaceTime audio people or just FaceTime video chat people as much as you need or want. And that's all through Wi-Fi. And that is something excellent to have when you're traveling. So always keep an eye out for Wi-Fi so you're able to connect with people as you go. And lastly, numero 5 is if you don't have any of these options, there's not Wi-Fi widely available, you can't get an affordable international plan, you don't want to look for a SIM card or can't find one, and you're not traveling for work. So what do? Ask the local establishment to make a phone call for you if you need assistance in some matter. And I did that actually in the Turks and Caicos. For some reason, my cell phone was not working at that time. Something was jacked up in the settings. Whatever, that's a whole different story. You can check that out. I think I talked about it in a YouTube video. So I'll link that up above. But I wasn't able to make phone calls, and I had gotten out to Grace Bay, and I need to get back to my hotel, and I'm like, my phone isn't working, okay? And luckily, the taxi driver had given me his business card. Now, this is very important. If you don't have any way to communicate or contact anyone, make sure you collect phone numbers. Make sure you write down like the hotel's phone number, write down your country's embassy number if there is an embassy in that country, and write down a taxi number so you can get where you need to go. And I had the taxi driver's business card. So I was in Turkberry ice cream, getting me some wonderful ice cream, enjoying the hot day and enjoying my time in Grace Bay, Turks and Caicos, and I could not make a phone call. I went up to the rep at the counter and I was like, hey, could you please make this phone call? Here's the business card, and saying I need a ride back to my hotel, the one song on the reef. She did it, no issue, and he came and picked me up as planned, as I needed. So that is another thing you could do. It's obviously not the best option because you have to rely on other people. I had to do that a lot in Turks and Caicos, but it's still an option in order for you to communicate while you're traveling. With that said, those were the 5 best ways you can communicate while you're traveling abroad. And why do you need to be able to communicate? There are so many things that could happen where you need to be able to communicate and get in touch with someone. So of course you may want to get in touch with your family or friends to let them know you're okay while you're traveling. Or you may just want to update your social media, right? Or check your email. But there may be other urgent matters like trying to find a hospital. Or maybe you need to contact the embassy. Maybe you need to call emergency. Maybe you need to flag down a taxi, request an Uber or Free Now or Lyft. Ride sharing, some type of ride sharing wherever you are. You never know when you may need to communicate with someone. And since we rely on smartphones and stuff so much now, you're not really gonna find a payphone, okay? So you need to have that access in order to be able to get around and for emergencies. With that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there is another way that you can think of or that you have tried in order to communicate while you're traveling abroad, please leave that down below in the comment box. And if you have any questions about either of these options that I suggested, please leave that down below in the comment box as well. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. It's free and it supports my channel and allows for me to provide more and better content to you. And make sure you share this video with your friends, family, and your social media networks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day or night wherever in the world you are. Bye.